Okay. So let's get going. So I have a couple notes here. I mean, we always start off with wins, right? So let's share. Does anybody want to share some wins from last week? From last week's call till now? Anybody? Bueller? Anybody have set any good appointments? Did anybody what do you call it? Take a listing from their efforts? Anybody would like to share any of that?
This is Ann Bree. I'll share something that was a win for us. We have a listing that has been under contract twice now. The first time they canceled based off some inspection items. And sorry, Quincy's with me right here.
Hi, sweetheart.
Hi. Anyway, so last week we had the buyer we're currently under contract with had their inspection and everything's good and they're moving forward. So we were super excited about that.
Woo woo. We like that, huh?
Yep, the inspections always give me a heart attack until they're done and good.
Oh, yeah. Now you got to sweat out the loan.
Exactly.
So, but that is a good win. Property that fell out a couple times, now you got a buyer pass inspection. That's a good sign.
Yep.
So, JC, when did you take your listing that just sold? Was that last week or did it just sell last week?
It went under contract last week, and now we're just negotiating inspection items, which are crazy. And then I had another listing or another buyer that I picked up last week.
Sweet.
So,
sweet.
Which was a referral from a friend in California.
Imagine that, a SOI referral. Jeez, man. So
weird, right?
90% of all the business on this call, if not more than, if not 90%, it's more, come from SOI and SOI referrals. Yet everybody spends their money on everything else. So I'll share a win with you. I don't know if Mary's on the call or not. We got viewer 6-8, and I got 2 viewer 8, so I don't know how that managed. But then we got so anyway, Mary Reese, I told her to call. For listings, I told her to call for rent signs to see if you can pick up a seller. Hey, have you considered selling that property? Well, she called it for rent sign or rent ad, and it turns out it was the tenant that actually was like subletting because he leased a place. They promised him all, a luxury type of rental up in Park City area. So she's, or the tenant's expecting, higher quality service than what he's getting. So he's got the owners to let him sublet it. So he runs the ad to sublet. So anyway, Mary calls the guy or calls the ad, and it's the tenant. So she met with him and signed a buyer agency contract. How cool is that?
Good for her.
Yeah, that's
good for Mary.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the guy's like $800,000 to $1 million. He's got a house back somewhere that's under contract or it's listed and should sell quickly or something, according to them, something like that. But anyway, the thing is, you just never know, right? So here it is. She's calling looking for listings and picked up a tenant buyer, picked up an $800,000 buyer, man. That's $800 to $1 million. That's $20,000 to $30,000 in gross revenue.
That's
potential.
awesome.
So, isn't that great? I mean, I just love sharing those kind of stories, only because it's like, okay, you just never know. Just call somebody, right? Call somebody. So, all right, anybody want to share any struggles? What are you struggling with? Nobody's got any struggles. Everything's perfect. Everybody wakes up every day and makes 25 phone calls.
I'm struggling keeping on task and not getting distracted.
You're struggling on not getting distracted, right? So the key to that is environment, right? So meaning you have to have an office space or, workspace that is conducive, that is very conducive to prospecting. In other words, you got to put your cell phone on do not disturb, right, where it cannot ring. You got to turn off all the notifications on your phone so you're not getting all these Facebook pop-ups on your phone and notifications on all that kind of stuff. And you just got to turn the email off, and you just got to have, the best way to prospect is to have leads on a sheet of paper and then have your phone on do not disturb, but also turn off all the notifications on your phone. Just turn them off, and just, you don't need them. So I mean, certain things, and I mean, you can, and you can, anyway, but the point is, if you do that and then, and you just got to laser focus and do that. So we'll talk, affirmations do that. So we used to have an affirmations are distractions are my enemy and my schedule is my weapon. Right. That was the affirmation for distractions. So, not making any promises, but we looked at I drove by and looked at an office space yesterday, and it looks promising. It looks very, very promising. I won't go into great details on that, but so we can certainly create some environment that'll be very conducive to making money. So anyway, so struggling. So I'm assuming all of you have the same struggle with distractions. And again, the key to that is to not allow these other distractions in your world. You got to turn off the distractions. I mean, don't sit there in front of your email. Don't sit there with all these things popping in. Those are distractions. So if you turn those off, if you literally just have your cell phone and your leads on a list of paper, you'll be fine. It'll eliminate half of your distractions, if not more than half. So that's for everybody, including myself on this call. So anybody want to share something they learned?
I learned a new cool iPhone trick.
What is that?
I posted it on my page, but it's pretty much if you are typing, and it works on if you're on like Facebook or something like that. But if you hold down the space bar of your message and you move your thumb up to the left or to the right, you can move your cursor to the word that you need to correct.
Got it.
So there's actually a little example on my Facebook page that I thought was super cool, and everyone I posted it was freaking out. So it helps me. So.
Got it. Yeah, most of my Facebooking is from. I don't live on the phone the way most people do. I use it for. I mean, I'm on the computer. I use the phone when I'm. I'm a nerd. I'm pretty stationary. I mean, I put about 9,000 miles a year on my car. So I know that's not a lot for a real industry, right? But anyway, so so I'd like to share even though I shared the win that Mary had, I'd like to share that as something to learn, right? So to learn there, so there's Mary there. So Mary just came in. Mary must have, anyway, so I sent out, I realized I sent it out at kind of short notice that we were going to make the call a few minutes earlier today. But Mary, can you hear me? There you go, Mary. Hey, Mary, when we were talking about wins, I shared with them, you called the for rent ad, and then, I shared that as a win. But then we're now down to what did you learn? And so I'd like to share with people. So tell us, what did you learn about that call?
Are you talking to me, Rob?
Yes, I am, Mary Reese.
Oh, okay. So I got on KSL and I was calling somebody that was renting, or they were looking for the sublet, and I just got into rapport with them. And it was a real natural conversation, and it turned out that, yeah, he had a home in Wisconsin. He's a veteran, and he's selling his home in Wisconsin, and he actually does want to buy. So I had the appointment with him, and he signed the agency contract.
So what would you say you learned out of that?
To think outside of the box.
Right. Yeah, just do something. You hear it said all the time, do something occurs, right? If you do a lot occurs. If you do nothing, then nothing occurs. Right? I mean, that's just the way it is. But that's such a great story. It really is. It's such a great story. Okay?
Yeah,
so,
I'm excited.
Anybody else learn anything? Perfect. Okay. So I would like to talk about two things I want to talk about. One is calling versus texting people, your partners. Okay. This program is meant to call your partner, not text your partner. Call your partner. Okay. Period. It's not meant to text. Texting, there's psychological reasons to talk to each other. Texting takes away some of that human interaction. There's real value in actually talking to your partner twice. You got to call them up, let them know what it is you plan to do, and then you got to call them up and you got to call each other back and let each other know what it is you achieved or did not achieve. But do not do this by texting. Texting is the easy way out. It may be considered convenient, but it's not as effective. I promise you. You need to call each other. I was talking to people. Oh yeah, we just text. I'm like, no. That was never mentioned in the program to text each other in first thing in the morning. It was always call each other first thing in the morning. This is about getting on the phone and talking to people. Okay, so let's get real clear on that. Make sure you call each other, not text. So I don't know that we need to spend a lot of time on that. Have anybody got any thoughts or questions on that? Okay, so the next item on the list I have is role playing. Okay, I sent out an email this morning looking for role playing partners, and so Richard said, him and Amy role play. I don't know how often you guys role play, Richard.
Once a week.
Yeah. So you need to role play, in my opinion, at minimum, 3-4 times a week, minimum. I mean, role playing once a week is a good start. Okay, but if you really want to become proficient, you have to do it often. And I recommend multiple partners, and I recommend switching off partners like every month. That way, because you'll get in a routine of dealing with each other. So you need to role play with different people. And then you also need to hear other people role play. And then what do you guys think about maybe doing a group call where we have like 2 people role play, or I'll role play with somebody, and then or have 2 other people role play, and then you hear each other role play. What do you guys think about something like
that? I'm for it.
Yeah. Any thought? Anybody think that's a bad idea? But I sent out the email. I promise you, role playing is where it's at. Your role playing will, by far, take your business to a higher level because you got to get used to these scripts and dialogues. And as you role play these, and as you listen to them over and over on the Baroque music tapes, then you just become so fluent with these. The key is, and if right now, if you think you're not using a script, that is hogwash. The most overused script in all of real estate is, I don't use scripts. That phrase right there, I don't use script, is a script. So what is a script? A script is just something that you say repeatedly. And if you don't have well-defined scripts, I promise you, you say the same thing in every circumstance. So you do have a script. Now the question is it a good script? Is it well thought out? Is it scientific? Is it designed to get a result? Is it designed to take you to your next step? And the step is either an appointment or a signature. So when you're scripting with somebody, if you're, whatever you want to call it, right in front of someone, you're either trying to get an appointment on the phone or you're in front of them trying to get a signature. So if that's our job, is to get appointments on the phone, if it's our job to get a signature in front of them, then let's use the scripts. And I don't mean to be like canned telemarketing, that kind of stuff. And that's usually what people think when they hear the word script. And that's not what it is. It's just designed so that you know what it is to say. So if somebody says, hey, we were thinking about, whatever, we don't want to list for 6 months. We only want to list for 30 days. And then there's a couple objection handlers for that. That's just an objection. But an objection is just an unanswered question in the mind of a prospect or something like that. So you just say, hey, I understand that, and so here's the thing. I understand you don't want to list for, more than 30 days. You don't want to be stuck with an agent if they're a bad agent. And I agree with that. So here's the thing. Let's just go ahead and sign the contract now. And here's the situation. I'll put in writing that if you're not happy, then we can go ahead and cancel the contract. Because I'm here to tell you, if it's not sold in 60 days, it's because of the price. And if you're not willing to adjust the price, then, to be frank, I'll just give you the listing back. Because why would I want to keep it if it's not going to sell? So don't worry about it. Just go ahead and sign the contract. I mean, that's just a script right there, but it's just natural conversation. I mean, these objections come up all the time, right? They just come up all the time. We never heard of your company. And so let me ask you a question. Does a company, you think a company actually sells the home, or is it the individual agent's activities that actually get a home sold, right? So yeah, let's just do the right thing, sign the contract. So, I mean, these are just objection handlers, but they're just scripts. So you got to know what to say so that you don't fumble. When you start fumbling when they give you an objection, then you lose because you're lacking confidence because you're caught off guard. So when you're caught off guard, then you're all discombobulated. But when they throw something at you that you've role played over and over and over, and you've heard on these tapes over and over and over, you just spit it out in a natural way that they go, oh, okay, great. My favorite script in all the world is, or I don't know, favorite, but I mean, the easiest objection handling is, will you cut your commission? And the answer is no. Do you have any other questions? And they go, well, another agent said they would do it. And they say, oh, I see. Can I tell you why that makes me nervous? And they're like, okay, that just screwed them up because why would that make me nervous, right? That's what they're thinking. So I just because they're prepared to have a math conversation, and I just discombobulated them by saying, can I tell you why that makes me nervous? And they're like, well, yeah, okay. And then you say, look, an agent that has the courage to stand up to you with their own value, how strong do you think they're going to be when it comes time to negotiate your equity? Is that what you want? And I mean, that's just a script, but those are natural conversations. So I'm going to encourage you guys to master these things at high levels if you want to take your business to a high level. And that's the key. If you don't want to take your business to a higher level, then just do the same thing you've been doing all the time. But if you want to increase your business, then you have to start doing things to improve your business, right? I mean, it's just that simple. You can't do the same thing over and over and over and over and expect to get different results every time, right? That's a definition of insanity, is doing the same thing, expecting different results. So no, you have to do something different. So let's take our game up to a higher level. I sent out an email this morning about role playing, so I hope you would respond to those. And then once we get a group that's willing to do it, I'll lead the charge. And then and then we could get on a group call here in the next few days or whatever, and then start the charge. And then I'll kind of lay it out and get you familiar with the whole concept of having partners to role play with. Sound good? Excuse me.
Sure. Yeah.
So any thoughts, questions, concerns, hallucinations? No? Unless everybody's got their eyes closed looking at their hallucinations and not listening right now, right? So, all right. If you don't have any questions right now, then I'm going to go ahead and end the call. I apologize for the short notice on the, change in the schedule, but I have an appointment that I had to get ready to get out of here and go to an appointment. This is a rare appointment. I have it on Monday, and it was scheduled back a couple months ago. Part of a program with Westminster College. They have students that are in marketing classes, and as a small business owner, so I'm teamed up with 3 students, and we're working together to create a marketing strategy to recruit millennial agents to the company. So I figured, what could they help me with? I don't really need lead generation for, bless you, I don't need lead generation work for, as far as the consumers, and we already know how to do that. I wasn't going to ask them for that. But I figured if they were young, they're actually post-millennials. They're not like, gosh, now you're hanging out with post-millennials. So anyway, they're working on it. So I have a meeting with them today. I have 2 more meetings, one today and then another one in December. So I'll make sure I forgot, and I'll make sure you know in advance the next time that the call is going to be a few minutes earlier. So I apologize for that today. But it is recorded. I will send out the recording. Unless anybody has any questions right now, I'm going to skedaddle.
Skedaddle.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Rob.
See ya.